Hi, my name's Kim and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from Bridgewater in Somerset in the UK. I'm going to show you today how I made these really lovely Peony Flower thank you cards. This design is very similar to a shadow box book card that I've created, and I'm going to show you that at the end of the video. So what I've done is I've created the 3D flower using the Peony Dies from Stampin' Up. I've actually created a vase or a plant pot, whatever you like to call it, using one of the dies from the Tasteful labels set. So let me just show you that die. These are the Tasteful label dies, and this is the die that I've used. Okay. If you don't have those dies, it's really simple to make a vase that looks very similar. Just using a circle die and cutting off the top and the bottom. So as you can see, the shapes are really similar. If I lay them on top of each other, you can see that it's very similar, and I think it would look just as nice, maybe even nicer. So what I've done is I've pre-cut everything that I need to make another version of this card, and I'm just going to talk you through what I did. So today we are making a petal pink version using the Peony Garden DSP. So this DSP is absolutely beautiful. It features the colour petal pink, basic grey, and also some grey granite. In this case here, I've paired the basic grey pattern with Blushing Bride, and I think that looks really nice. And in this case, I've paired the grey granite with some champagne foil and some black cardstock. And I've actually done the leaves in the champagne foil as well. So what I have here is a standard card base, which is 29.7 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres, and I've scored that 14.9 centimetres. I like to play around with different layers. Sometimes I like to go a little bit smaller, and I like to create lots of thin layers, thin bordered layers. So what I have is this DSP measures 8.1 centimetres by 12.4 centimetres. The basic grey is 8.4 centimetres by 12.8 centimetres. And the Whisper White is 8.8 centimetres by 13.2. So there's just a very small 2 centimetre border around the edge of each piece. Okay, so I'm just going to start by adding some Tombow to the back of my DSP. Just gives you a little bit of room to manoeuvre and make sure you just get the borders correct all the way through. I really like the basic grey, but I just wanted to add another layer of white just to brighten up the card. Okay, and then and some more Tombow. I haven't actually layered this one up because there's a lot of dimension with the flower, and I'm just going to then attach that to my card base. Okay, so I have already pre-made my flower, but I'm going to show you today how to do that, just in case you haven't seen any videos on how to do that. So we have the Peony Dies. These are the dies that are used to create the 3D flower. These dies here are used to cut out the stamped images. I keep them separate, and I've added them onto magnetic sheets just for ease of use. I find it much easier. So to create the flower, what you want to do is cut out using petal pink, for example, in this example here, this one, this one, this one, this one. So these create the flower, and then these 6 here create the leaves, and then this piece here creates the centerpiece for the flower. So what I prepared earlier, I have the 4 pieces to the flower and the leaves. So the important thing to know is that on the flower, this bottom edge, they all line up together. So every single piece just it helps you make sure you've got it the right way around. They all line up. Okay, so to create the flower, you have to insert each piece into another piece. Now you could start from the largest and work your way to the smallest, or from the smallest up to the largest. It's entirely up to you. There's no difference. So what I like to do is, if I take the smallest and the second smallest, if you see this opening here, you simply slot that through, and then you turn it upside down and you line it up. Now I don't go right to the edge. I just leave a little bit of a gap, just so you can't see it when you turn it the other way around. And then you take this piece, and again you insert it into the next piece, turn upside down, and again you just layer them slightly back from each other. And then finally the last piece, and there you have this beautiful flower. Now you can do lots with this flower. You could emboss the pieces before you put it together. You can dampen the paper down and crumple it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more 3D. You can do watercolouring. You can do it in white and add colour. You can add sponging. There's so much you can do with this. So I'll be playing with those techniques at some point in the future. So when you're looking at the flower, you can see there's a piece here that has an opening, and you can simply slot in the centerpiece of the flower. What I do is I just use glue dots to hold all these layers together. Then we have the leaves. So we have 3 leaves. Obviously you can die cut more, and these additional pieces that add additional dimension. So if you layer them on top of each other, you can see that it adds some dimension. Now you can choose whatever colour you want for your leaves. You can use 2 colours, so they're 2-tone. It's entirely up to you. There's so much you can do with this set. So I just use a little bit of Tombow and attach all these pieces to the leaves and then let it dry. And then I use glue dots just to secure them to the bottom. So I've just secured mine like this. So I've got 2 leaves here and 1 here, but it's entirely up to you how you do that. So let's bring this card base back in, and the vase that I've die cut using the Tasteful labelled dies and embossed with the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder, which I absolutely love. There's lots of different things you can do with that. On this one, I've used the Subtles embossing folder, and on this one I've used the Dainty Diamonds again, but it's hard to see because it's in black. Excuse me. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some dimensionals to the back. You can choose whichever side you like to face up. I like the flat side, but the other side is just as lovely. And I'm just going to simply place that just in the centre, up from about a centimetre up from the bottom of the card. And then I'm going to add my flower. I think you can have it tilted to one side or the other, or just face up. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to go with, but I'm just going to add some dimensionals to the back. I think I'm going to have it tilted to the side. So I'm just going to stick that into place. And I've pre-cut some silver foil cardstock from Stampin Up. It's approximately 5 centimetres by 2 centimetres. I've used my embossing buddy on this before I've stamped the Love and Thanks to a Dear Friend sentiment. I've stamped that in Versamark. and then I've applied white embossing powder and used my heat tool to set that. I absolutely love using embossing powders on foil cardstock. It's only something I've done recently and I never really thought about it before, but it just looks stunning and it just adds a touch of luxuriousness to the card. I can't even say that word. So what I'm going to do is just apply a little bit of Tombow to the side, and I'm just going to offset that slightly so it's hanging off the side. Okay, there we have it. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed my project today. I hope you've enjoyed learning how I put this together. I just wanted to show you where I got the inspiration to make this card. It's actually a more detailed project that I designed as the make and take, and it's called a shadow box book card. And inside, as you can see, I've used the same technique to create this flower, although this is the one I created first and I created the card off the back of it afterwards. So this shadow box book card has concertina sides, so it's slightly different maybe to some shadow boxes you may have seen before. It's square and it has a note card section where you can write a note to the lucky recipient of a card like this. I think these cards are perfect for special celebrations, for those really good friends of yours and close family members. So if you'd like to learn how to make this, head over to my blog www.handmadebykim.co.uk and look up tutorials, and this will be available for you to purchase. I am actually offering a kit as well, but if you're not in the UK, France, Austria or Germany or the Netherlands, then you can buy the video tutorial on its own. There are also several other purchasing options, so please do have a look and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, that's it for me today. Thank you very much for watching my video.